Don't you hear me when I call? Oh, big boss man. Oh, you hear me when I call? Yeah, you ain't so big, oh, you just tall, that's all. Well, you got me working, boss man, working round the clock. I want a little drink of water, but you won't let Jimmy.
As of yesterday,
I want to thank the former general. I keep calling him general, but the guy who runs that outfit over there. I'm proud to nominate David Chipman to serve as the director of the AFT. David knows the AFT well. Visit vaccines.gov, or text your zip code to 438829. But there's to be beginning this effort for 2021 is I think we've learned a few lessons. We hold these truths self-evident that all men and women, we haven't lived up to it completely, but we've always widened the arc of commitment. The jobs that are going to be created. I'll be in better shape to talk to you about it. I'll tell you what they sent me.
Crazy scene. We were there with troopers from Texas, Nebraska, and Florida, as well as Border Patrol, as hundreds of migrants arrived at a closed gate in the border wall. Now, the gate was periodically open to allow family units in, but at times, some of the adult men actually tried to squeeze through and take advantage. Troopers had to muscle the gate closed and sometimes yell for them to get back. Now, despite the administration's repeated claims that the border is closed, Border Patrol ultimately ended up opening the gates to allow hundreds of migrants through, including large groups of single adult men, some of whom told me they're from Ghana and Haiti. The migrants were packed onto buses and vans and taken to processing centers that are already well over capacity. Border Patrol sources tell us it's likely many of them with asylum claims will go to ICE and then just be released into the U.S. pending their active cases. Also here in Del Rio, Texas State Troopers arrested an active member of Los Zetas, one of the most dangerous drug cartels in Mexico. I'm told the man was dressed in camo and was found walking on a local highway. He later admitted to being a paid coyote who smuggles migrants into the United States. And in the Laredo area today, Texas troopers pulled over a semi-truck with 105 illegal immigrants crammed inside who are all being smuggled. The driver was arrested for human smuggling. Laura, I'll send it back to you.
Whoa, 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 put on the brakes, put on the brakes. Welcome, welcome, boys and girls, children of all ages, hoofties, poofties, bung-eyed effers, right-in-up wing wackos, woodchucks, and chuckettes, kings and queens of the Northeast Kingdom, and little dogs too, to another version of It's News to Us. And have you got anything to say for yourself today?
Yeah, huh? Stay on camera, Mac.
You got any dog secrets to tell me? No? Oh, we're gonna be that way. What are you union now? we have to run everything by your manager? Is that what you're telling me? Yeah, you need a PR department for your ass. Okay, Fatso. Yeah, go on. You got
your own camera now, Mac. Get over there.
There you go. No hiding. Yeah, good. That's a sneeze. It's a start.
I hope I got it. I'm not sure if I did.
Go over there, Sneezy. Go on. Go on. Don't be that way. Anyways, you are watching It's News to Us. Thanks, Philo. In the booth, we have Philo T. Farnsworth, the College of Musical Knowledge.
See me waving?
Inventor of the modern television.
Everybody watch me wave.
Yeah, there he is. He's in the booth. We lock him in there, slide food under the door every now and then. Pizza.
Yay!
And we're Newport's Orders TV News. What's new? You need real cue. So can say we've got adult themes, some adult language, but not really. And we are now in a geriocracy.
Anger chucks.
Yeah, I can get chucks. I should have got that card out for woodchucks and chuckettes. And there's our president right there. Oh, and speaking of which, there was a conference, Beware the Bronze Age Invincible Sky God, there, and defund the police. I don't think so. No. We need them around. Oh, and this is another thing. All these Texicans came up on a private jet, no masks, mind you. Now, all the rest of us, if we board a plane, we have to wear masks. They come up with no masks. They're all getting hammered on light beer, getting cocked, come up for a vacation. They're getting paid $1,000 a week to be in the Texas legislature, and they're gonna defend democracy by not participating in democracy. And they keep calling this voter suppression. Okay, the other side calls it voter integrity, to clean up the voter rolls and what dates, because everybody went off the charts with this stupid COVID thing, and they slammed through all kinds of voting irregularities. So now there's about 16 different states that are cleaning this up. And yet nobody gets specific. Nobody will tell us. In the old days, Philo, remember when we were kids, they would have, camera two, they would have both sides, thank you. They would have both sides of an issue. Come on, say like on Meet the Press or any other TV show, a news show rather. And they would have both sides. They would have the people who said, oh, this is voter suppression on one side, and the other people who said, well, this is just integrity, and we're cleaning up the voter rolls on the other side. And they would both make their point, and it was up to the audience to decide which was which. But oh no, now, and it's not a liberal news, it's just a corporate news. They come on and they just preach this stuff, preach voter suppression. And it's insane. It's just nuts. First off, we're going to give you some news that you won't get from anywhere else, okay? Now, mind you, we know the election was rigged. Do I say fixed? Not necessarily. Excuse me. But it was rigged, okay? Because here's the thing. Had the voters known about the Biden family crime syndicate, they might not have voted. They probably wouldn't have voted for Trump. They might have voted Libertarian, but they wouldn't have, they might not have voted. But here's what happened. I mean, you had Twitter and Facebook censoring stuff about Hunter's laptop when now it's proven that the thing is true. They censored stories about treatments for COVID. We find out now those treatments work. They censored stories, everything. You can't have a free society with censorship. Anyways, it turns out that that Hunter's tax evasion thing, which they censored too, they censored that one. It was stepped on. All right, it was stepped on by this guy. He was U.S. Attorney David Weiss. Hey, another Irishman, Philo.
Goodness gracious, where'd they all come from?
Yeah, David out of some shtetl in eastern friggin' Russia. Western Russia, excuse me. David Weiss, the USAT from in Delaware, he paused the grand jury in the Hunter Biden case.
The Grand Negus?
Yeah, the Ferengis. He paused the grand jury until after the election. He killed the case at the same time the laptop story was out. And yet Hunter went on TV in December after it didn't matter. Here's another thing. People are wondering, well, how come the gas prices have gone up since Biden shut down the pipeline? Well, yeah, I don't know. He shut down the pipeline, you think? I mean, it was tar sands oil, but it was oil regardless. They're shipping it by rail, which is slower and more expensive. And we were putting out, Philo, about 18 million barrels a day. And this was, like I said before, this was the first time in our lifetime where we had become energy independent, all right? Finally, energy independent. Now, we have the most, the United States has lowered its emissions more than any other country on the planet, any other, industrialized country.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've lowered our emissions more. Our engines are more fuel efficient than ever before. We have 5 6-speed transmissions. in cars, so you can get incredible mileage. They're fuel efficient. They put out hardly any pollution because of the catalytic converters and stuff, which are very expensive, mind you, because they have palladium and what's that other one, platinum and other stuff in them. So anyways, we've gone from 18 million barrels a day now down to 11 now, Philo.
Yeah.
And so that's inflation. So the price of fuel goes up, and the price of everything goes up with it, because everything that's delivered to your supermarket or everywhere else is delivered by diesel. It's nuts. It's nuts. Meanwhile, they're printing up billions more, trillions more, for their buddies for these stupid-ass projects. Now they're calling it human infrastructure. It's not human infrastructure, it's welfare, okay? All right?
Infrastructure is roads and bridges.
Yeah, tunnels.
And sewer lines and...
Water, sewer, exactly.
Yep, schools.
Even internet, broadband, I would say fiber optic.
Very much so.
Throw that in there. And we'll see, might see something there. And, get this one, too. This one slipped under the radar. Former FBI Director Louis Freeh has put $100,000 in Biden's trust for some kind of business. We don't know just what. And let's see, what else have we got here? Oh, yeah, and with Hunter's tax evasion thing, and never mind the gun thing. They didn't prosecute him on gun crimes. Here's the thing. They have laws, right? It's a felony to lie on an application to buy a firearm, okay? And they call it what the district attorneys and U.S. attorneys call it, because it is a federal crime. They call it the lie and try on federal forms, because you lie on the form trying to buy a gun. That's why they call it lie and try. Go figure. So anyways, was Hunter Biden friggin' busted for lie and try? Oh, hell no, because his last name's Biden. And there's another story about some millions of dollars worth of uncut diamonds he got from China, Philo.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
How did they get by the Diamond District in New York?
Yeah, hoy. Speaking of hoy.
That's why I said it.
That's like I said last week, that's my idea of inclusion, being an old Hebe. And inclusion is a flower and a diamond. And a couple months ago, too, did you notice this? Denmark stopped both the J&J and AstraZeneca vaccines.
Yeah, they're saying now that the J&J isn't nearly as effective as the others.
And get this, both are vector vaccines. Well, we've got 3 vaccines. Now, why they haven't come out and told people this, I don't know. You would think they'd want to educate the public on the different types of vaccines and how they work, right, Philo?
I would think so.
I would think so. More information, the better, whether you can figure it out or not.
Well.
So we've got 3 different types of vaccines. We have the mRNA and the protein submit. Oh, and the mRNA vaccines, protein vaccines, and some kind of submit vaccines. I've got to dig into this more later. I'll have to give it to you next week. And there's a company, and we have the mRNA and the protein. The J&J and the AstraZeneca vaccines are protein, or vector vaccines, excuse me. You've got vector, mRNA, and protein submits. Okay, forgive me, I was wrong. AstraZeneca and J&J are vector vaccines, not mRNA. mRNA are the Pfizer and the other ones. And the last one is called a protein submit, and there's only one company I think that I know of that's working on the protein submit vaccine. Hasn't come out yet. It's a company called Novavax. Now, and with the election last year too, according to Voter GA, they found improperly duplicated ballots in Fulton County, which is the Atlanta area. They had no audit. They had tally sheets that were falsified. They had mailed-in ballots, and the people they had cameras over the desk, Philo, or watching the room, right? And the cameras showed that they had all these mail-in ballots, supposedly, Philo, but none of them had been folded. Now, how did they get mail-in ballots out of an envelope this big, a paper this big, out of an envelope this big, yet there were no folds in any of the ballots?
It's magic, that's all.
Yeah, give me that old black magic. Give me that old black magic. Unbelievable. Okay. Unfolded mail-in ballots that were done by printers, and they showed some of them had like a slot mark where somebody had skipped a pen on them, and left an ink blot. And they found like 5, 10, 15 other ballots that had that identical ink blot on it.
Well,
Showing that they had been duplicated by printers. And yet supposedly Joe won at the Atlanta area by 13,000 votes. Now they've tossed out 100,000 votes. They found 100,000 junk votes in Georgia, and 35,000 crappy votes, ballots in Fulton County, I believe. So, and Joe supposedly won by 13,000 votes? Okay then. All right. So we got now 16 states, like I said before, that are ditching the COVID emergency measures because they were illegal. Some jamoke comes in with a lawsuit, brings it up to the Secretary of State, says, look, if you don't allow us to have these mail-in ballots or drop boxes or pickup sites or whatever the hell we want, we're going to sue the state, and your name's going to be right. So they just caved in. And it wasn't even statewide. Some people did it county by county. We find out now that Zuckerberg paid something like $300 million in Florida, but that didn't work because Florida cleaned up their act after the 2000 election. I noticed that Florida, out of all the states, Florida did not go dark. There were only 4 states. They suddenly went dark after midnight. Oh, that's it. We're going to stop counting. Yep. Well, Florida didn't go dark, and they had all their numbers in by like 3 a.m. So we got 16 states working on it too.
Vermont went dark after 8:01 because they knew who was going to win the state anyway.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's pretty obvious up here.
Yep. There's too many snowflakes up here.
But Trump got 17 million more votes in the last election than he did in 2016.
No, you also had more people voting for a change. More people were actually out and voting.
Yeah. Anyways, back to that stupid virus.
Oh boy.
It turns out that what was it? Oh Christ, I can't remember the name of the outfit. But this outfit. In Washington, D.C., they did a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act, to get Fauci's emails. Well, they finally got Fauci's emails. And it looks like he got a vaccine on January 31st in 2020, Philo. And the email said that the virus looks engineered, and it didn't go through the P3 funding framework, say that 3 times fast,
Oh no.
at the Woohoo lab. And then the next day, on 2/1, February 1st, he did a conference call with all these other people, right, to try and cover this up, we think, because we don't have any transcripts of the phone call. And then all the subsequent emails after February 1st that they released, they were all redacted, Philo. Now, why the hell would emails from a health department director be redacted? Was there national security implications we don't know about?
Oh, definitely. Most likely, everything's national security now.
Yeah, oh yeah. And
Everything.
Speaking of which, FBI, it turns out now they're finding, that doctor that used to work for the U.S. Olympic, the gymnasts and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
That Nasser guy. Well, the FBI completely blew that investigation, Philo.
Yep, I read about that.
Yeah, and they had a read to kids thing at some library in London. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that one.
Where they had this guy show up. He calls himself the Rainbow Dildo Butt Monkey. You have to look that one up and see it for yourself.
You know what? I'm gonna join Mac. Look at him. He's dead to the world.
He's had it. Yeah, the rainbow dildo butt monkey was reading to kids, and you thought drag queens were bad.
Jeez.
And
Mother Mary and Joseph.
yeah, we had 19,000 handgun deaths in this country last year, Philo. They're calling it an epidemic, right? Yet we had 93,000 overdoses. Okay. And right here in Vermont, too, we had 11 deaths from the COVID vaccine and 68 serious adverse events, some requiring hospitalization. Okay. Nothing to see here, right? Oh, and I heard these, I heard this ad, because so many people are on so many medications, right? That they have this ad on radio down in the Boston area where it's called, this guy comes on and he says, yeah, if you need insurance, come see Big Lou.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
My son lives in 29 Palms, which is just outside of LA. He hears this ad on the radio. This guy's selling like expensive suits.
Yeah.
It's something Muhammad and Ali and all this big long Arabic or even from India name.
Yeah.
And then the guy goes, but you can call me Big Al.
It works for me. So anyways, this guy comes on and he says, remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Well, that's supposed to be a good thing?
Yeah, right.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so anyways, it's insane. Oh yeah, and recently, something like 8 million people in New York City, right? And they had 3 COVID deaths. That's an epidemic, all right.
Boy, that's really bad.
And they had between 300, we don't have an accurate count, but for the past year, supposedly, there have been between 335 and 383 kids die from COVID, right? Yet they don't break down how many had pre-existing conditions or especially leukemia. It seems to have struck the kids with leukemia who are on chemo and stuff really hard.
Of course it will.
Yeah.
Anything will.
And so we've had between 335 and 383, okay? When 500 a year, roughly 500 a year, die annually from the flu. And they want all these kids to get vaccines? What are you, crazy? Really?
Well, of all the deaths in Vermont that were attributed to COVID,
Yeah.
I had two ladies on here on my show Monday, and they said the actual deaths from COVID in Vermont was actually about 40.
Yeah, when you cut through all the BS.
Yep.
And there's nothing but outdated CDC info on their website. There's no information on people who recovered. There's no information on people who, how many people have got the virus and recovered and have natural immunity. They just want everybody to take the damn shot, where if you've had it and you have antibodies, you don't need the shot. You're doing better without you have your own natural antibodies. And according to a DOJ training manual documents, they're blaming white supremacy for inner city violence, Philo.
Yep, okay.
Yep.
Yep, whatever.
And they said that with the vaccine, there was a 0.01% breakthrough rate. Now it appears to be up to 10% in the UK. The breakthrough rate means that if you've already had the shot, you can still get the damn virus. And now, what with these jokers that flew up to Washington, D.C. in that private jet, they spread it around. They found like 6 people on that jet from the Texas Democratic legislature. Legislators. They had there's 6 people. And they even some of them met with Camelback Harris, our VP, the cackling hen, and suddenly she had a routine visit on a Sunday at Walter Reed, Philo.
Fancy that.
Everybody has Sunday doctor's appointments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had $80 billion a year go to the NIH, most of them in grants. And yet 0.08% were COVID related. Is that insane? That's insane. It's just insane. Oh, it's this upside down? Yeah, I guess so. Okay, yeah, and here we are. We're at News to Us, where we asked a really hard question. Is it really going to be a Subaru summer? I keep hearing it on the
Toyota or
radio.
Honda would be okay.
Huh?
I don't know, but Toyota or Honda would be okay.
Yeah, yeah. Hell, I'd actually, you
What
know,
is this?
if I was going to buy a new car, I would think, I think I might get a Ford, Philo.
Oh, goodness.
They didn't take, they've got a pretty good rate, you know, recall rate, stuff like that. That stupid RAV4 Toyota, I have a stack this thick of recall notices for that stupid thing.
We haven't seen any yet.
I haven't they got the kinks out of the thing by 2010, I believe.
Yeah.
And, okay, here we are. I love this one. We're all extremists now. This is the day in history, part of the paper. And I love this. Thanks, Follow. In 1964, as he accepted the Republican presidential nomination in San Francisco, Barry Goldwater declared that extremism in defense of liberty is no vice, and that moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue. How true. And in 1945, this was on Friday, last Friday, July 16th, the U.S. exploded the first A-bomb in Alamogordo. And, yeah, Apollo 11 blasted off in ~69. I remember that. I was 13 years old.
I was a senior in high school.
Yeah, I watched the liftoff and the men walking on the moon and everything. And then we were all out back having fun with our community spread. I had a screenhouse out in back of the house and under the willow trees, Philo.
Yeah.
And there was room in there for like 3 beds and a picnic table. And, or you could reconfigure it for, you know, people with a table and, you know, stuff like that. Chairs, so you could get out in the backyard and watch the lightning bugs and stuff like that. What are you looking at, Mac? And, he's really old. You gotta give him the talk, Philo. The puppy's in heat, and he mounts her, but he doesn't complete the dirty. Maybe she's not quite ready yet. Yeah, lap that thing a few more times. You gotta get it working, buddy.
Hey, get him some Viagra.
Yeah. And speaking of which,
Viagra, oh my goodness.
speaking of which, in Burlington, they want to okay prostitution. Philo, bring on the whores!
Well, you know, there was 2 female legislators on the state level a couple of years ago who wanted to legalize it all over the state.
Oh, lovely.
You know why? They said it would stop the human trafficking.
Oh, sure. Council would consider permitting prostituti. Proposal would remove the mandate in the city charter. What, there's a mandate for prostitution? Perry Freeman, this lesbian, she said it will reduce client violence. There'll be a greater willingness for sex workers to report violence, increased safety for LGBTQ, RU12C3PO workers who are disproportionately stigmatized and less likely to seek police protection or health care, and reduce transmission of HIV. Okay, and here you are. In late February 2020, the Vermont House passed a bill that supported revisions to sex work laws. An effort that coincided with the arrival of COVID, never made it to the Vermont Senate. That must be the one you were talking about.
Yeah, you know, when they start stuff like this, I actually just tune it out because it doesn't affect me. I mean, if they legalize it, it doesn't affect me one way or the other.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I used to hang out at this club, let's call it the Unicorno. It was right on the main street in Tijuana, Avenida Revolucion. And you could go to the Unicorn Club and you'd go downstairs where it was nice and dark and cool, and the girls danced on tables and on the bar. And then they had rooms upstairs where you could
Bump uglies.
yeah, where you could party.
Grumpy dumpy, as the Brits call it.
Yeah, here we are. Oh, and algae blooms clothes Burlington beaches. Oh, yeah, this is a common occurrence now, they're saying on TV news. Oh, it's a common occurrence. You know, never mind that under Governor Shumlin, his secretary of the environment there, Deb Marco shits, she changed the allowable E. coli limits from 77 per thousand to 235, which guaranteed more crap and our rivers. And get this, speaking of hypocrisy, this was on, the closed beaches one was on July 15th, and then yet 3 days later, on the following Sunday, they published this. 5 dog-friendly beaches in the Burlington area. Well, wait a minute. No, they're not dog-friendly. If the dogs drink that stuff, they're dead meat, man. And if you get it, and you're going to have liver or kidney problems, buddy. Oh, yeah, 5 dog-friendly beaches in the Burlington area.
No, all of their microbreweries wouldn't have anything to do with this, would it?
It's most, honest to God, Philo, it's mostly these, the liquid crap. And we dumped everything into that. We had 30,000 farms in this state. We had untreated city sewerage coming out of villages and towns like North Troy right into the river until 1980-something, 1985. And it's just nuts. It's just insane. And yet, you know, now they came out with the liquid crap in the 1980s. Every farm switched to it, and bang, now we've got algae blooms everywhere.
Look at him go.
Here we are.
He's doing a curly shuffle now.
Yeah, do something, Mackie. Come on, you fatso.
He was twisting around there pretty good.
Oh, we got a dead drunk Mexican in Nebraska.
You're kidding.
Yeah, run over 3 times by 3 different trucks, Philo.
A corn truck, a wheat truck, and a rye truck, right?
Yeah. Oh, and here we are. Oh, we told you this is a story about the runaway Texicans, and now one of Pelosi's aides and one of somebody at the White House both came down with COVID. But where's the dead Mexican one? Oh, here we are. Capitol rioter sentenced for felony. It's just insane. So anyways, sheriff office. Columbus, Nebraska, man found dead, had been hit by 3 vehicles. Man who died on U.S. Highway 30 in eastern Nebraska had been hit by 3 vehicles. About 11 p.m. Saturday, the investigators determined that Antonio Esquivel Rivas, 41, of Shelby, was standing in the highway when he was hit by a westbound pickup truck. They said he was then hit by 2 eastbound vehicles, a tow truck and another pickup truck. Remember, if you're out at night, wear white. And then this dumbass woman in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, they had a most wanted page on their Facebook page, Philo.
Yeah.
And they've asked the public for help to locate Lorraine Graves. They think she was involved in a murder of Eric Graves, 30, on March 13th. 2 other suspects were arrested and charged with murder, but they couldn't find this woman. What the hell's her name again? Erica Graves. No, excuse me. Or whatever the hell her name is. Yeah, let's see. Lorraine. Okay. They couldn't find Lorraine. They think she killed Eric. So they didn't have to search too far. Less than 3 hours after the post, Lorraine went on the Facebook page and commented, "Where'd the reward money at?" Now that be good English, right, Philo?
Goodness, they probably went to Harvard.
Yeah. Where's the reward money at? I just wonder about Lorraine. So on Friday, the Tulsa announced on Facebook that she was arrested that afternoon in North Tulsa by the Fugitive Warrants Unit. He was charged with accessory to murder with a $500,000 bond. Oh, and here we are. You notice it's always far right. You never see anyone listed as far left. Australia deports British commentator for a quarantine boast. Far-right British commentator Katie Hopkins was deported from Australia after she boasted on social media that she planned to breach the country's quarantine rules. She traveled to Australia to appear on a reality TV program, was in a 14-day mandatory hotel quarantine in Sydney before filming was to stop. Her flight to Australia created outrage after government cut in half the number of citizens and permanent residents allowed to return home each week. Unreal. Okay. Oh, we got Navy dumbasses too. Oh, man. Time bomb, blunder, clown show. Yeah, all because of Pennsylvania GOP wants an election audit. It's just insane. They sent letters to 3 counties, including Philadelphia, to request access to a sweeping list of information, documents, and equipment with the threat of subpoenas for holdouts. Trump's antics. But Governor Tom Wolf and State AG Josh Shapiro, both Democrats, have vowed to fight him in court, giving Republicans who are leery of Trump's antics hope that the audit will have a short life. Oh, yeah, so asking about election integrity is Trump's antics. And here we are. In wake of ship collisions, Navy is revamping training. So maybe all that, all that diversity training is about to give way to real training, Philo, so they won't hit each other in the ships. In the 4 years since 2 deadly ship collisions rocked the Navy, they've been looking for ways to address problems after they contributed to the deaths of 17 sailors. Poor maintenance, shoddy technology, and a relentless pace of deployments went unheeded years before the 2017 collision of the guided missile destroyers Fitzgerald and McCain with container ships just weeks apart. Okay, who's driving this thing? Are you driving this thing? No, I was smoking a joint out on a fantail. We're incorporating complex scenarios in the state-of-the-art simulators using operational experience from the fleet and embracing the feedback loop to continually improve. Oh, you think? Maybe the diversity training should wait till after you learn how to pilot the damn ship. Oh, and here we are. Oh, yeah, Ben & Jerry's to end sales in occupied Palestinian territory. Well, they don't really take Vermont cow milk, or cream rather. They have some company in Israel do it. But I guess Ben & Jerry's, they're okay with Muslims making women be covered up in beekeeper suits, Philo.
And beaten.
Yeah, and beaten, and they're okay with have Muslims throwing gays off the rooftops, I guess.
Whereas in Israel, it's the women that beat the men.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
You betcha.
You remember Frank Zappa's Jewish Princess song?
Yeah, I was just thinking of that, or like Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Oh, she's Jewish. What? Yeah, just what I need, a Jewish princess. Yeah, ongoing debate of the conflict of Israel. Ben & Jerry's has a factory in Be'er Tuvia, Israel, and has been operating since 1987. Markets itself is upholding progressive values and support for social justice movements. Well, unless they're Muslims, then we'll look the other way. Oh, and speaking of which, there was a full-page ad in here in one of these. Oh, here it is. Now, what has this got to do with anybody? There's like, what, less than 1% of the U.S. population is Muslim, right, Philo? Yet here we are, a whole half-page article on Eid al-Adha, whatever it's called. Muslims mark Eid al-Adha holiday, feast of sacrifice held in the pandemic shadow. In Kashmir, businessman Ghulam Hassan Wani is among those cutting back. I used to sacrifice 3 or 4 sheep, but this year we can hardly afford one, Wani said.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, just 1 sheep this year, I'm so sorry. Oh, man. And here we are, bottom of the page in today's paper. States challenge Biden's push for LGBTQ rights. Well, no, the states are pushing back, and it's way down here. The states are pushing back. Oh, this one woman died from a medical procedure, and this other kid, look, he might have OD'd, but they don't say so. They're pushing back because they don't want boys who say they're girls taking trophies and spots from women and scholarships and everything else. Yeah, Rita, 46, passed away unexpectedly July 15th during a medical procedure at North Shore Hospital in New York with her husband by her side. A medical procedure. See, there is risk in every procedure. I mean, ask Joan Rivers, right, Philo?
You know, she had one too many facelifts, and the last one got her.
Well, actually, it was something in throat or vocal cords, right?
I'm not sure what it was, but she had so many procedures, it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson had so many nose jobs that they used to put him under and not do anything because there was nothing left to do, and they had to tell him that they did something.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't. I mean, that's how bad some of this gets.
They call that syndrome Munchausen by proxy, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, a drive by Texas lawmakers to restrict transgender participation in sports. Latest pushback by Republican-led states as Joe Biden champions expanded LGBTQ rights. Joe Biden champions the rights. Well, no. If you poll the American people, it's like 80 to 90% or more of the U.S. population says, no. That's the line you're not going to cross. I'm sorry. In Texas, the number of bills introduced that limit transgender rights has more than doubled to almost 50, including 17 proposals in a 30-day special session. Yeah, right. School sports have become the latest battle on these rights. The special session measures that would require transgender student athletes to compete on sports teams based on their gender assigned at birth. Texas Senator Charlie Perry, who wrote both bills, argued that the differences in body mass and makeup between men and women would make the competition unfair.
Of course it would.
Yeah. It's not okay to destroy the dreams of one for the benefit of another. That's it. It's the line that we're not going to cross. I'm sorry. It's the way it's going to be. Oh, man, yeah. Oh, Bezos went up in space.
Yep, 10 whole minutes.
Yeah, wasn't that wonderful? That puke. 5 representatives in the GOP named to the January 6th riot panel. And just when I was leaving, it looks like Nazi Pelosi had pulled a couple of them off the panel, Philo.
Yeah, she's useless.
I'm telling you.
They're all useless.
Well, she's a petulant little whiner. I mean, to sit there and make faces and do all this stupid stuff during the last State of the Union and then rip up the speech afterwards, she's nuts, man.
It's all grandstanding. They all do it.
She's got to go to the home. I mean, the thing you do, no matter what you do, if you think of the president, you have a basic respect for the presidency, okay? Even bite me. If I was invited to the White House, I'd go. Do I agree with him on anything? Oh, hell no. But I have respect for the presidency. None for the man, but I have respect for the presidency.
Yeah,
like
the office, yeah.
Yeah, like Harry Truman said. But oh no. Oh yeah, this guy is blasting Boris Johnson in the UK because
he and Trump got the same.
Yeah, and they made fun of Trump's hair. Have you seen that rat's nest of plugs and crap on Joe Biden's head?
I've heard that on Boris Johnson he has hair by Cuisinart.
Yeah.
You've seen Boris, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like boy, what hell? Come. Actually, even Bernie had hair like that for a long time until somebody told him to comb it.
Yeah, they combed his hair with a balloon.
Got white-toothed garden rake.
Yeah, but I mean, you make fun of Trump, and then you see this rat that's crawled up on Biden's scalp. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, Boris Johnson's really got one. You've seen it, haven't you?
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Because I have to download the Prime Minister's questions every week for our weekend show.
Yeah.
And it's like get a rake.
This guy Cummings said that Johnson's attitude was a weird mix of partly it's all nonsense and lockdowns don't work anyway. They don't. And partly, well, this is terrible, but the people who are dying are essentially all over 80, and we can't kill the economy just because people dying over 80. Yeah, the average life expectancy in the U.S. is 73, all right? I mean, it's a blessing every day you have after that, but damn it, man, we're going to shut down the whole economy for everybody because people are dying at 80 and 90 years old? People at 80 and 90 die all the time.
Well, I think my Aunt Lily had something on Facebook that said you have to work until you're 67 to draw Social Security, and the average life expectancy is 78. So you work 50 years of your life to get 11 years back.
If that.
If that, yeah. And some don't make it that long.
Oh, here we are. This is my favorite. Virus transforms the Hajj, the future of the Mecca pilgrimage. You know what my favorite, Philo?
What's that?
It's the stoning of the devil, remember?
The devil gets stoned?
Yeah. They put in a tower. What you do is you buy like a handful of pebbles, and then at the last day of the walk around the meteorite, here's the article on the bottom. The last day you walk around, and they had so many people that got trampled to death during the stoning of the devil that they made like a 3-story, like a parking garage, where they have the pillar that represents the devil down in the middle, and you can walk around a 3-level thing that goes up, like I said, and you throw stones at the devil. That's during the last day. The stoning of the devil, and then the meat to the poor, that's always at the end too. But
You think maybe the devil would like to get stoned?
yes, the devil loves to get stoned.
Goodness gracious.
Oh, look at this. Experts, flood shows the need to curb emissions. Well, it's like, wait a minute. We're curbing emissions, except for China and India. They get off scot-free. But it's like, you know what? There's droughts and there's weather, and it happens all the time. You know, maybe you shouldn't build in a floodplain. How's that for common sense, okay?
Goodness, you're asking too much here.
Oh, yeah. God forbid. Don't build in the damn floodplain. I looked at property before I found my place, and it's like, what the hell? I mean, really, the place looks nice. It's not next to a beautiful babbling brook, but you know what happens? You get 3 days of rain, and that little babbling brook turns into an inferno. A torrent.
Lots of water.
Yeah. Water is very powerful, man. And here we are. Look at this, Philo. Front page on Sunday's paper. Migrant dairy workers deal with high stress. Oh my God. There's a lot of stress in pulling them teats, I guess, Philo.
Machines do it now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Machines are all doing it now.
there's always one cow that's sore, and you got to do it by hand, you know. But it's like, you know what? If you don't like it, you can always go back to Shitholio. The paper's authors, a team of 4 UVM professors, identified the major sources of stress as racial profiling by law enforcement in one of the whitest states in the country. 2, language barriers. Well, look, here's a clue. Learn English. You know, you got half the day off. Learn English.
In order for us to graduate high school, we had to learn English, didn't we?
Hey, when I lived in Mexico, I did my best to learn Spanish, and I could get by. You know, I wasn't going to go out and give a speech in Spanish, but I could get by.
Finland has the best idea. If you move there to stay there, you assimilate to their culture.
Oh, yeah.
Period. You learn their language.
Language barriers. And 3, separation from family members, physical injuries from dairy farming, and fear of deportation. While fruit and vegetables are eligible for temporary visas, there's no visa program for dairy workers. Well, where's Senator Leahy? Where's Pat Leahy? He's been down there since 1974. Why? How come he never got anything through, Philo? Oh, he's working for us. He's doing great, isn't he? To reduce stress, the authors propose further investments in fair and impartial policing, expanding the availability of translators, and implementing a statewide Spanish language farm safety program. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll pay for more translators. We will. I think we should take that right out of my taxes. Oh, and here's one of the biggest faults in the country. And they're finding out that all these insurance companies have canceled homeowners insurance. Thanks, Philo. Geez, Mac, you okay? They've all canceled homeowners insurance for all these houses around the New Madrid Fault. Only 12.7% of homes were insured. Yet in 2000, more than 60% were insured for earthquakes. So it's just too expensive. It's insane, man. And if you ever get a chance and you go up the Natchez Trace Parkway, you go up that parkway, you can see where that earthquake in 1816 or whatever it was, it created these lakes and stuff. It was insane, man. Oh, here we are. District focuses on at-risk students to manage academic slide amid pandemic. Well, why was there an academic slide? How come states like South Dakota and Texas and Florida, they had kids in school? You know, because the AFT and the NEA, teachers unions suck. And they got everything they wanted. And they, you know, it's like, it's mind-boggling. They got home and they got to stay home. I can see that up until the vaccines came out in like December, up until December, they had an excuse to stay home. But after they had access to all these vaccines, they gave them first to the essential workers, and then the teachers were supposed to get them. They were essential workers.
They were the next one in line.
Yeah, how come they didn't go back to school in January?
Oh no, it's the pandemic.
Oh my God, no. And now we're focusing on connection and equity, Philo. Of course.
Lord help me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And here we are. It's about time. But
I'm getting Max scratching and stretching here.
grunt and scratch, Mackie. You're toast. You're burnt toast. Schumer bill. Schumer bill would allow the regulation of marijuana. That was another thing, because see, you know what happened, boys and girls? If you read the book Smoke Signals, it's the most comprehensive one there is on the history of weed. If you read Smoke Signals, you'll find out, and what anybody, you can ask your grandparents to tell you if they're that old. In 1930s, early 30s, when they got rid of, when alcohol became legal again, don't even ask about that one. From 1919 to 1933, 32, 33, alcohol was legal. We had gang violence like we see today, only with white people shooting each other.
Mostly mafia, yeah.
Oh, man, yeah. We had the Jewish mafia, the Purple Gang, the Italians, the Cosa Nostra.
Yeah, the Irish had Whitey Bulger in Boston.
Irish gangs, you name it, man. And they were all shooting each other up. And they did it, again, they switched to drugs because they made marijuana illegal in 1937. And this idiot named J. Harry Anslinger, he was appointed by FDR to run the Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs. And what happened was they became corrupt. By the 1960s, they were found to be taking all their evidence and selling it and giving it to their friends and relatives and making money. And millions were busted, lives were ruined, and all for weed. That was the one law that yours truly, I broke. It was the only one. Well, I did sell some other stuff earlier, but when I found out it was a felony, I just went to weed. But that was the only law I ever broke, was the weed. And man, did we make some good money in the 1980s, Philo.
Yep, for sure.
Hi-ho, it's off to the fields we go. It was great. And we did it right under people's noses, man. Yeah, here we are. It turns out we are Neanderthals, Philo.
Yeah, I know. Joe Bitely says so.
Well, no, I mean the geneticists.
Oh.
Study, modern human genome is not unique. Yeah, well, it turns out they still haven't figured out quite yet where the hell we came from, but it's down below. Yeah, the genome is not unique. Oh, damn it, that thing's hot. This is a fairly new article, and this was in the Sunday's paper. DNA extracted from 40,000-year-old fossils. What makes humans unique? Scientists have taken another step forward to solving enduring mystery, comparisons between modern humans and our ancestors, extinct ancestors. Just 7% of our genome is uniquely shared with other humans and not shared by other early ancestors. That's a pretty small percentage. This kind of finding is why scientists are turning away from thinking that we humans are vastly different from Neanderthals. The research shows DNA extracted from Neanderthals and Denisovians. The Denisovians were the red-haired people they found in those tombs and graves out in western Mongolia and eastern Russia, Philo.
40,000 years. Don't tell Mike.
Yeah, that's right. The world is only 6,000 years old.
Yep, he's been smoking it too.
Yep, 6,000 years old. That's what it says. Add them all up. You
He
can
watches
tell.
the Flintstones as if it was a documentary.
The Flintsteins.
Also known as the Flintsteins.
Yeah. Neanderthals and Denisovians dating back to 40 to 50,000 years ago, as well as from 279 modern people from around the world. It's a difficult statistical problem. The research developed a valuable tool that takes account of missing data in the ancient genomes. Researchers also found that even a smaller fraction of our genome, just 1.5%, is unique to our species and shared among all people alive today. Those slivers of DNA may hold the most significant clues as to what truly distinguishes modern humans. All right, you know what happened? Here's what happened. Oh, and they've actually created artificial intelligence, Philo. One of the things in the 1850s or whatever, when the German archaeologists went down to what is now Iraq and Syria, right?
Yeah.
They found libraries, thousands and thousands of those cuneiform tablets. And according to the ancient Babylonians, they said these people the gods came from space. They were big people. They came from space, and they created man and woman. That's where the Adam and Eve story came from, and that's where the flood story comes from. And they couldn't figure it out, so they called it a myth. But anyways, now, instead of deciphering all these tablets one by one with humans, they've got artificial intelligence programs where they're finally deciphering them by computer. And we should have a wealth of knowledge fairly soon. But they said these gods came down, created man and woman, and it's the same story. I mean, it's the same story they told in Iraq, in Babylon. The same story they told in Pakistan and India. It's the same story that they told in ancient Mexico and in South America. All these ancient peoples, and they all built pyramids. You know, and they all told the same story about gods coming from the sky, yet to this day we call it a myth. Yet suddenly, 40 to 50,000 years ago, modern humans just, boom, spring up out of the ground. And we're supposed to discount these people because, it's a myth, and it runs counter to our modern religion.
By the way, Steve, last but not least.
Yeah, bummer. Last but not least. Okay, here's the Vermont story for last but not least. Oh, yeah, and thanks to Joe Biden, we've got 5.5% inflation in the last 6 months. Thanks, Joe. Here we are, last but not least, more than $800,000 to be paid out in money to the bakery that shut down. And these people, this company wound up taking VITA money, the Vermont Economic Development Agency. They took our money and they chew and screw. It happens over and over and over again. It is the worst, most rank form of corporate welfare on the planet. Anyways.
We gotta move.
Yeah, once again, you wasted a perfectly good hour of your life, Mac, watching this stupid show. And so hopefully we'll see you again next week, inshallah. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. So until then, get down on your hands and knees in the men-only mosque, sniff the bum of the guy guy next to you in the man dress, head east, worship the rock in Mecca, and say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Baki.
And a happy Deus Magnus Est to everyone.
Fatso. Oh.
Get me a boss man, one that'll treat me right. I work hard in the daytime, rest easy at night. Big boss man, oh, you me when I come. Well, you ain't so big on. You just told that's all.